joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sanjeet.
Great. So it'll be a pretty candid conversation, like we previously discussed, right? So we'll be starting with some bit of your journey, how you started. I know you started working pretty early on in life, and you have reached some great heights. So we want to learn from you and understand how you started, where you are, and what is the future plan. And we'll dive slightly into the world of AI. What is this buzz about? I think entire LinkedIn, internet, everything is about AI these days, and they say that these digital workers and AI agents are going to replace a lot of humans, right? So let's dive deeper into that aspect as well. And is SaaS dead? That is another question. So that is pretty much about it. So yeah, I would love to know about your journey, John.
Yeah, for sure. And again, thanks for having me on, Sanjeet. So it's if I go back to where it all started, essentially what people might not know about me, I was a crazy athlete in high school. So I was like a crazy track guy. I don't think I lost a race from like my sophomore through senior year. Was offered scholarships for track, and also, ironically, football. I was really good at football and sports, so I ended up going to play college football as well. Had
Mm-hmm.
no idea what major I wanted to do or anything like that. I had no interest in anything with college at that point, and I was sitting in my dorm, and I got I didn't know what my major was. I didn't know what classes I was really taking, and they sent me this little card. I remember it still to this day. It was like like an index card, and it said your major is computer science. And I was like, I didn't choose that. Like, I have no idea what that is. I'm just like, all right, it sounds good. I guess it was just chosen for me. And so as I went through college, I started taking classes. Back then, we were doing our initial classes were like Ada, which was like a military kind of scripting programming language, like way old school. So I just didn't really change anything. I had no interest in being a psychologist or a lawyer or a doctor. And I ended up just going through the computer science program, learning, at that point, it was like C and like those kind of languages. Java wasn't even around yet. And so I learned everything from like machine language and zeros and ones to hex code to Ada
Binary.
and yeah, binary. So I learned all the way back from zeros and ones. And when I got to the point where I graduated, at that point there was an explosion in like 1998 with like software jobs. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
going to my counselor and I was like, my GPA wasn't great. Like I wasn't like a 4.0 student or anything like that. I think it was definitely in the twos. And I was like, do you think I can get a job in computers, like in software, computer science? He's like, absolutely, you can. And at that point, jobs are flying off the shelves.
And which year
So,
is this?
pardon me,
Which year is this?
1998. That's when I graduated, like way old school. That was even before
20,
Y2K.
20 years, almost more than 26 years to be exact.
Yep, yep. So moved to Colorado, and the first job I got was actually video games. So I did video game stuff, and I was responsible for like the movements of like the characters and stuff, like the math. I ended up getting a math major as well.
Uh-huh.
And so did that. It was really cool because we were all at desks. We had like subwoofers, and we were able to test the games, and it was like a really cool environment. And then back to what you mentioned about SaaS, that's when like Remedy ARS took off. As like back then it was called a rapid application development platform, similar to like a Salesforce. Remedy came about and I was young. I was like 25, 26. I don't know what the age was. But got into where I was doing consulting, implementing Remedy ARS for companies. And at that point, there was no virtual, there was no Zoom or even VPNs. Like we had to actually fly on site. And at that point, they would train you in like 2 to 4 weeks. They would send you to like to learn Remedy in a week training class. You'd get like a certification, kind of like Trailhead with Salesforce,
Mm-hmm.
and they would send you out and you would travel on planes. I was gone every week. I was in Texas, California, like wherever, mainly the West Coast area, going to client sites. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, like
Home
zero.
country.
And they would send us young kids out there. I had like no idea what a help desk was. Like Remedy's mainly help desk, and you were kind of expected to run the whole project from project management to discovery to getting requirements, working with the clients in person to figure out what they wanted. And I would say many times those projects blew up back then because it was such an explosion. I mean, we got like calling cards for long distance cards to take with us, where you like those sprint cards where I had like 100 minutes to use to call even. And I was on my own. I was on an island and I grew up extremely fast. Like extremely fast in those environments because you're responsible for everything. There's no virtual support. There's no Zoom calls. Like you're on your own. And I right away learned the hard way how to mature in this space.
Got it. So you kind of learned the hard way how to manage things, and kind of that helped you in your future, right?
Exactly. Um, and then I met who my current wife is. Been together 20 years, whatever it is. And at that point, quickly had a child and had to settle down somewhat and get off the road. So I didn't want to travel every week. And I'm like, I can't be on the road every single week. That was back when it was like 5 days a week. You would leave Sunday night, come back late Friday night. And I decided I wanted to stay in Denver and work for a company. So I ended up getting on with back then it was US West, now it became Quest, and now it's CenturyLink. So got into the telecom space, doing software development for telecoms. Very complex environment, but at least I was at home. Um, Quickly graduated up into management and leadership roles like quickly. So I was leading and building software development organizations, Java, J2EE, integrations. That's when XML and web services came out. So we were just always on the leading edge of technology in these enterprise organizations, doing about as complex stuff as you can do. So I was leading global teams of like 50 plus or so. Um, and then got into healthcare a little bit at Kaiser Permanente. But at that time, like 2014 through 2016, I saw the opportunity with Salesforce. That's when it was really
How,
taken
how did
off.
you how did you like see that opportunity? Were you working the current organization you working in Salesforce platform, or you saw things blowing up? You were following Mark Benioff. What were you doing?
A little bit of everything. So ironically, when I worked for Kaiser Permanente, I ran the Northern and Southern California consulting teams, like internal consulting teams. We worked with doctors and nurses and healthcare providers directly um, on in the technology space, selecting platforms for them, integrating it, etc. And a lot of my time was visiting San Francisco. So that's where half of my team was. So I got into like the Salesforce ecosystem, essentially, like the energy and the frequency, and learned about it almost at that point, almost third hand or second hand, if you want to call it that. And also doing stuff, um, internal projects for Kaiser as well. So I just quickly saw the opportunity that this thing's going to take off, because at that point I saw it wasn't just like what you were mentioning, SaaS. I was like, this is a development platform. This is going a different direction. This is not just a HubSpot. Again, nothing bad with HubSpot. It's not just like a QuickBooks or a SaaS. This is truly a development platform, and I saw that, and I saw the opportunity.
Got it. Got it. Next, what happened then? When we are in 2015 now, right?
2016 is, yeah, somewhere 2015, 2016. Yep.
Got it.
So I made the leap. I always had an entrepreneur mindset, and I've always wanted to jump out on my own. I don't like authority. I've always had that problem back in the past. I was in school. I was always in the principal's office. I always had a problem taking direction from people. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm doing my own thing. And that's when I became a Salesforce partner. So did all the work to become a Salesforce partner. At that time, it was a little more. And I essentially launched my Salesforce consultancy, and started, I would say, learning the hard way quickly, through 2016, 2018, on what it takes to build an agency.
Not just tech.
Exactly. A lot of tech people um, think it's easy. There's so many strong technical people in the Salesforce space. They are consultants. They know Apex. They're architects, and in their mind, it's like I can hang my shingle. I can start something. Why we're billing these companies 300 an hour. I'm way better than they are. I can get 300 an hour if I just build my own agency, and it's just not that easy. It's just not that easy.
It's not that easy, and I think tech is maybe 25 max 30% of it, right? But there are other things that you need to take care of: processes, SOPs, customer retention, engaging the customer right away, setting the right price point, building a team. I don't know what not. I think it has been 3 years since I have been building Keezy, so I kind of understand. I also started in the same mindset that okay, I know tech, I can pretty much do everything, but as you start working towards it, you kind of understand what it takes to build an organization and train your team, build relationships and things like that. So what was the most
Absolutely.
challenging part, by the way, when you were building up?
Pardon me.
What was the most challenging thing that you faced while you were building up in initial days, maybe in first couple of years?
I would say client acquisition. I did get referrals right away that got me off the ground, but I was always on the receiving end. So like, especially being like where my position in corporate America, I was always on the other end of dealing with vendors, people coming in. But when you flip it, it's a whole different ball game, right? Uh, you're not getting taken out to lunch. You need to take people out to lunch. Like that's like at the base level, right? You have to literally flip everything. So a lot of it is not reviewing contracts. I need to create a contract. And I don't, and so it's a total different mindset, right? I'm not approving timesheets. I need to create a system that I can submit timesheets to on my end to submit to the client. So what I learned right away, and it was challenging because everyone in the technical space were about project delivery. Give me requirements, we're going to do it. We're almost like machines. It's a little more nuanced on the other side. It's a complete flip because you're delivering, you're service based. You want to keep your customers happy. You want to provide a good solution. And you essentially have to play all the roles as well, right? I think there's like funny movies about that in some cases, but it's like you're an accountant, right? When you're starting out, you're a salesperson, you're the
Like,
technical lead. So it's like, yeah, I'll send my technical lead to the next call. And it's like, hi, I'm John, the technical lead. It's like, weren't you the sales guy? So it's the paradigm shift of flipping everything, doing all the roles. But what's awesome is you learn all the roles. So by going through it, I used QuickBooks right back in the day, and it's like you start learning accounting and invoicing and net payment terms and all those things, and you're just drinking from the fire hose pretty much every day starting out. At least what I was.
I still remember I raised my first invoice and the customer was, after like 15 days, I was like, dude, I didn't get the payout. And he was like, the payment term is net 45. I said, okay, I googled what is net 45.
Exactly, and you're hoping it comes in net 45.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's what people don't understand. They have this vision of like, I can work for a major company. I'm going to bring in 10 people. And it's like, do you have capital to carry, paying your people that long? Because you might not even get paid on time, even with the terms.
Yeah,
And those are the lessons learned the hard way when you go into this.
yeah. Did you face any challenges where you were not being paid? Any of the incidences?
I would say I absolutely had circumstances where I didn't realize the capital I needed to keep my people paid. But I had fortunate of other business owners and partners that I had at that time that helped me and kind of saved me. But it's one of those things where you don't realize that what you need for capital in those situations, and then big companies, it's like I don't have lawyers, right? I can't just send my legal team to go get the payment. They really are in charge. And that's what I think people don't understand as well. If a large company takes another 2 weeks, 4 weeks to pay you, there's really nothing you can do. And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the reality.
Yeah. No, so there has been an incident I'll share with you post the podcast. Recently happened.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much about it. I understand that. So that's how you carried on, then you built it up, and what is the current plan? I know you have started this amazing community and a mastermind, but what is going on with the consulting piece?
Yep. So that's I'm pretty much shut it down. I've realized I've been doing this 20, if I do the math, 27 years now, doing projects, doing integrations, doing software development consulting, all that stuff. What I recognized, and I've just done thousands of them, right? And what I realized was my passion and what I like doing is helping others learn from my,
Hmm.
I'll call them failures or mistakes. And I saw a need in the market to help other passionate Salesforce professionals that see an opportunity to launch their own agency. They have a little bit of a feeling that they want to go become an entrepreneur and do their own thing. And what I'm launching now, and what you've been part of with what I call Mastermind 1.0, is building a mastermind with a community of other Salesforce consultants, freelancers, and established agencies build and launch their Salesforce consultancies, agencies. I'll call it the right way, or at least accelerating success and getting feedback from if I my options are A, B, C. Which one should I choose? It's like, well, A is not a good one. Here's why. B is okay, but C is really working for everybody. That's a good path, and um, building that mastermind from like September, which has been great. I learned a lot from it, got a lot of feedback. What I'm launching in Mastermind 2.0, is what I call Launch Force. It's for Salesforce consultants or even small agencies that just need to kind of relaunch their agencies. And it's like a 90-day accelerator where it starts from foundational mindset, belief, getting through fear, all that stuff goes through that, along with defining your niche, your ICP. Because what people don't understand, like healthcare is not a niche. And Salesforce might tell you that. Sorry, Salesforce. Salesforce might say that, right? Just pick a niche. I'm in healthcare. Okay, you and about 1,000 million others. That's not niched enough to get attention and to get work. So Launch Force goes through mindset, getting over fear, defining your niche, lead generation and sales. A lot of people have no idea, technical people, how to do a sales call, right? How do you do sales and discuss and get a deal closed, and then offers and pricing. So it's a 90-day program now that I've developed that's launching March 1st, called Launch Force, that does that. And then what I call the second tier is the 360 Mastermind, where established agencies and people that, I'll call it, complete the Launch Force program come together, and they work through scaling challenges, offer challenges, more client acquisition. How do I get more leads? How do I get more sales? What's working right now? And then the third tier, which is the boardroom for well-established agencies that are even trying to scale, exit, merge, and work through a mastermind of other agencies as well.
Got it. Now that makes sense. I think the exercise that we did like a couple of months ago, where we were selling a pen or something, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Sell me this pen. And people are like, it's a nice pen. It's a shiny pen. It's like, oh man.
You need a pen or not? That is kind of the first
Right.
thing that you should ask.
Exactly. I don't even know if I'm not even sure if you need a pen.
Yeah.
Right. And then kind of starting from there. Yep.
No, I still remember that class. I think that was a good
Yep.
one.
It was awesome. It was fun.
Yeah, and everybody like brought in different perspectives, right? So it is always good to engage in a smaller group. Like bigger groups, I think 50 people group, nobody will kind of engage, but I think 10, 15 people group is always interesting to engage and get insights, and you at least know each other, right?
Absolutely. And that's part of it. Building networks. We're all supporting each other on LinkedIn. We're getting to know each other. Definitely
Yeah,
collaboration opportunities as well. So I agree. It's not going to get too large. It's always going to stay like a certain size, um, to make it beneficial.
great. So where do you see these masterminds and launch force and things like that? Maybe 5 years down the road. Where do you see John? What is John doing 5 years down the road? Is John exploring, or are you like thinking this is the way to go, or this can be one of the things you do and then you dive into different aspects of it?
I think I'm going full bore in my mind down this route because I see a lot more I get a lot more out of it from like a personal satisfaction perspective of helping people and agencies versus like building software apps. It's kind of interesting when you build software apps, you expect like the clients to be so happy and everyone's like celebrating, but really it's like you're already on the next project.
Yeah.
It's extremely fulfilling helping other people launch and build and scale. Like even yesterday in the mastermind, one of our members was like, I got a client within 2 days from an inbound lead last Friday, and it's just he's just taken off. He's like 2025 is going to be awesome, and I like helping people and seeing the emotion and seeing them succeed. So I think I'm going to keep taking something like this forward. I'm passionate about it, and it's probably going to also duplicate into other areas outside of Salesforce. Is where I'm seeing the vision. Think of other SaaS platforms, other platforms similar to Salesforce, similar concept, and keep building and building, seeing opportunities, and keep scaling it and helping people out as much as I can.
Great. That's good. Talking about SaaS, like you mentioned, John. So there's this recent buzz, right? That I think Satya Nadella or somebody was saying that SaaS will probably be dead in maybe years to come, and AI agents and these digital workers or autonomous workflows, whatever you call it, these will kind of scale up, and the market of these AI agents can be maybe 10x more than the SaaS platforms out there. So, what are your thoughts? Where do you think the world is heading towards, and maybe what the next decade holds for us?
I think anyone is crazy if they don't think AI is part of the future. And the quicker you accept it and adopt it and learn it and leverage it and incorporate it into what you do with your job, especially if you're in the tech industry, understand how it works, leverage it and learn it as much as you can. There's no question that the platforms and the technologies are incorporating it. So the more you know about it, the more valuable you're going to be as a resource or an agency or an employee or a consultant. I do think, back to the Google and Chat GPT or Claude, I think people are definitely now starting to make the shift from searching on Google to searching on Chat GPT. There's more info. It does a better job versus like searching through and scrolling through. So I think similar to that concept, I think software as a service as a concept, I don't think we're near the next 5 years. I think someone mentioned you can just enter in an AI and it'll build a CRM platform for you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that way in 5 years where AI is just going to create a software package for you like a QuickBooks or a Salesforce. But I do think in the next 5 years, there's going to be a hybrid, both from the platform perspective and um, developers, consultants, admins leveraging AI as part of their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of it. Um, and I think SaaS will likely transform from just like how we did, you would install CDs and DVDs in your computer, and then things started being more online and more virtual and web based. I think it's going to be similar to that, where it's going to be it's and like Netflix, right? Blockbuster to like streaming Netflix. I think it's like that kind of concept with AI. We don't know for sure where it's going, but we're definitely going that direction. And the software and apps might not be what they look like today, but definitely the SaaS platforms are going to adapt with AI, and we're going to be following more of their lead more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So what I was reading some other day, right, a couple of weeks ago, that the AI apps you spoke about, right, they'll be called something like composable apps. So it'll not be that John needs something, he'll go and search for different SaaS products and then identify and all. He'll probably be there'll be a prompt, and then he'll just prompt it up. Can you make this for me? And AI will kind of create a prototype for it, and then you can start using it, and then destroy it up once you start using it. Something on those lines. It is maybe a couple of decades later, or even more than that. But I think the future that people are visualizing, right, is that. But in near future, I foresee, like you mentioned, there will be a lot of AI buzz around, and SaaS platforms will kind of transition into more of AI agents and things like that. Automated workflows will be there. So I think that is the future probably, and but you never know, right, where the things are going. But it is definitely, AI is not a buzz anymore, I think.
Yeah, and I think if even in that situation, if you really think about it, let's say I'm a small business owner, I have a surveying and engineering company of 30 people. they don't want to write their own AI apps and deal with things not working. And right, they want someone else to be in control of it, like a SaaS, like a Salesforce, right? They don't want the headaches of trying to create
Yeah.
their own like AI CRM platform, because then everyone's going to have a different platform. And I foresee a massive nightmare if everyone's creating their own CRM platform with AI, just from a maintenance troubleshooting. Why didn't this integrate with Facebook for my ads manager data? And some person that's non-technical trying to figure that out. So I think there's still power, and I think the direction and future is still companies like a Salesforce, a ServiceNow, whoever it is, still controlling the platforms and the method and the technology, versus everyone fending them for themselves on their own, trying to build something with AI when they have no idea what they're doing.
No,
Is
absolutely
my
right.
thoughts.
I think I agree with you. So, but the debate here was that, for example, let's take an example, right? Like there are more than 7 billion photographers today because of smartphones, right? Earlier, you used to
Right.
call a photographer, you used to click the photograph, give you the printout, right? So that is to a different world. But today, everybody can just log it up, right? And things like
Right.
that. So I think maybe smaller pieces, some people can just use AI and create it. Larger modules, like a wedding photography, is still a thing, right? You cannot do it using a mobile phone. So I think it will be more specialized, but smaller bits and pieces might be like composable or something. Not sure where it is heading to, but let's see how it goes.
Yep. For sure. For sure. Yep. It's
Yeah,
exciting time. I think it's kind of fun. It's
yeah, it's kind
interesting.
of fun. Maybe an AI agent for John is kind of training the team here. You never know.
You never know. Never know.
Or maybe a John's AI agent is giving 5 podcasts together in the same day, and John is just sitting down relaxing on his seat.
That would actually be all right. Although it's fun, right? There is something with. I did have a period, on a whole side note, where I had like a year off, and there's actually someone I live with in our condo here too as well. But I don't want AI and technology to do everything. Like, I like doing this. I like having fun, right? I was pumped even to talk with you today. So there's something still to be around, about like not wanting technology to do everything for you, but actually still like living,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I think you should be living and you should engage with each other and you should meet people. Otherwise, there's no purpose of life, right? So technology can
Absolutely.
technology will start breathing for you one day. It makes no sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that was pretty much it, John, for the podcast. Anything else you would like to share that I probably have missed and there's something on your mind you want to share, or maybe the last closing note for folks watching this?
No, but I think definitely, again, the AI thing. Stay up to speed on AI. Accept it, adopt it, leverage it, learn it. That's the future, especially for, I would say, Salesforce admins. Absolutely, I would learn AI, because that's probably the first role that will likely be impacted, if there is any, on AI. So definitely, if you're a Salesforce admin, learn AI, Agent Force, how it incorporates into Salesforce, and I think just keep up with the pace of technology.
Yeah, and I think the pace of technology is increasing day by day, right? Earlier it used to be maybe 7, 8 years down the line to change, right? Now I think every year or maybe 6 months, new things are coming up. So I think it's really important to take some time out and keep yourself ahead of the curve.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Sounds good, John. Thanks for taking your time and hope to meet tomorrow on the podcast.
Yep. Thanks, Sanjeet.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I think it was a good one, John. We kind of focus on multiple aspects of it and each piece the time it deserved, not diving too much into multiple topics. I think that makes too much of sense.